You obviously did it. How am I supposed to defend you?
I obviously didn't. Why would you even want to be a solicitor if you can't defend an innocent man?
That wasn't... Are you ready?
It's a film society. I can't believe people with...
Yeah, I should probably go see a GP about like my sex addiction as well.
Let's hear from the Sergeant first. Are you ready to proceed?
Today, Your Honour, I'm presenting you with a heartbreaking case. And it's not just a simple case of assault and robbery. It's a case of personal betrayal, with meticulous, malicious conspiracy. Not only did the accused, Mr. Edwards, orchestrate a plan to steal a valuable deck of cards from his long-term friend, but left both my clients with both physical and mental scars.
And got ya! Oh, what's that? 3-0?
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. I've got something cool to show you.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
Check these out.
Yeah.
See, you'd think they're just regular cards, but actually they're a lot more than that. See, these are physical NFTs. Consider it an investment into the future.
Investment?
Yeah.
How much are they worth?
Well, you see, it varies, but they range usually anywhere between $1,000 to $5,000.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, kicking your ass again or what?
You can try. I'm winning this one.
What I have in my hands here, Your Honour, is not a regular deck of cards, but yet a physical set of NFTs. Mr. Edwards knew this before the night of the incident, and worth thousands each. You could say Mr. Edwards was the fool for committing such a heinous crime. But today, Your Honour, all we're asking is for judgment to be bestowed upon Mr. Edwards. And that justice be served for my clients. For please the court, Your Honour, I'd like to call first witness to the stand, Mrs. Robin Bell.
Proceed.
Mrs. Bell, I'm so terribly sorry to get you up here to relive your traumatic experience, but if you could, please tell the court what happened that night.
Well, it was supposed to be just a nice dinner. Craig invited Dave over and everything was going fine until Dave excused himself from the table. I didn't think anything of it until we heard a loud bang from downstairs.
Hey, am I alright to use the loop?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Oh, awesome. Could you point me in the group?
Oh, yeah. Did you never been here before?
He came back to the table not long after, and I didn't suspect much, aside from him not liking my food. And just then we all heard a loud bang from downstairs.
Could you tell what that was?
But it sounded metallic. I got up to go investigate, not thinking much of it, and when I got to the downstairs ensuite, someone grabbed me from behind and everything went black.
Could you tell who that was? Let the record show Mrs. Bell identified Mr. Edwards and Mr. Barnes.
They were his accomplices. Craig and Dave were at the table. It couldn't have been anyone else.
Are you okay?
Let us go!
Oh, I know that you're thinking that you don't deserve this, and that you've been so great to me. But you've got all these shiny new toys. What is the deal if I just steal one? I just need to pay the fucking rent. Is that too much to ask? I mean, just give me the code to the safe. I'll be out of your hair. Forever. Get fucked! Oh, prick!
I would do what he said if I was you.
Fine. 2109. Happy.
Very.
I had no clue what to do. I was scared. But Craig turned to me and he assured me that everything would be okay and that he had a plan.
Hey! You know, if you're gonna rob us, the least you could do is scratch my nose.
I mean, if you're asking me to.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it. Thanks. It's been bugging me all day, that one. Fuck's sake.
I called the police and Craig demanded to know why he was doing this to us.
Oh, Dave! You stupid cunt! Couldn't get it open, mate.
No, the fucking code wasn't right.
Oh, code wasn't right.
No.
And anger rose in both of them. Dave lashed out at Craig. He just kept hitting him in the side of the face, but Craig knew violence wasn't the answer. And he just took it. Eventually the police came and took Dave away.
Thank you for sharing, Mrs. Bell. It's extremely brave. No further questions, Your Honour?
Your Honour? I call my first witness, Mr. Simon Barnes, to the stand.
Proceed.
Mr. Barnes, thank you for your time.
No problem.
What is your relationship with my client?
Well, I'm his boss at NPC, which is Newcastle Premier Construction. And I guess for the last 3 or so years, I've been something of a mentor to him.
Would you be able to tell the court in your own words your recollection of the night in question?
Well, Dave wanted to invite us around to meet an old mate. Not ordinarily something I'd go for, but he said that there's a good chance of some free beer, so that really got my attention. Yep. Oh, we'll be over in a sec. I'm just waiting on this fuckstick to get himself together.
Shut up, Grump. We don't all go around looking like we haven't showered in weeks.
What's your manners back in, boy? We're here to do a fucking robbery, not attend a fucking beauty pageant.
Yes, I know we're going to a robbery, but I better bring my A game. And this is straight up confidence booster. Come on, let's go.
Tyler. What? We're going through the fucking garage. Put your fucking earpiece back in. Where the fuck are your gloves? Put your fucking gloves on.
Take this.
Fucking hell.
Oh, come on.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm right.
You're proud of you.
You're right there.
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
it's just I lost my dad young too.
Oh.
So it was just hearing that really.
Idiots all. Stand over there. Play fucking statue whilst I fix this. I'm sorry? It's just very stressful in here. Can you please repeat that question?
Were you welcomed into the Bell home?
It was a very, very warm welcome. We were very comfortable when we walked into the home.
Did you have any knowledge of this mysterious sound that Mrs. Bell described?
I heard it, but I was just as confused as everybody else.
Why did you and Tyler flee the scene when things heated up?
Well, flee, I think, is a bit of a funny word. We just left. They were getting in a mess, and we didn't know the couple, so we just left.
Mrs. Bell claims that you threatened her husband with a crowbar. Did you bring a crowbar or any other implement with you to the house that night?
Nope. Came and left empty-handed.
No further questions, Your Honour.
Okay, Sergeant. Is there anyone else you'd like to bring to the box to testify?
I do indeed, Your Honour. I'd like to call Mr. Craig Bell to the stand, please. Now, Mr. Bell, I'm not going to make you relive your traumatic experience given the excellent account your wife gave, but does your testimony align with hers?
Yes, exactly so.
And from your perspective, are there any details whatsoever that are missing?
Well, when Robin went to go investigate the noise, she was gone for a concerningly long amount of time, so I asked Dave if he could check up on her. Hey, Dave. Robin's been gone for a while. Would you mind checking on her while I do the dishes? Cheers, mate. Dave was gone for a suspiciously long amount of time. That's when I decided I should check out the noise myself. I call out to Robin, and I get no response. I call out to Dave, and the response was my wife screaming. I walked towards the sound of her screams, not knowing what to expect. It was then that I was incapacitated.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. No further questions, Your Honour.
No further questions, Your Honour. Your Honour, I'd like to call my client, Mr. Dave Edwards, to the stand.
Proceed.
Mr. Edwards, please recount the night from your perspective, in your own words, please.
Well, the truth is that it all started the night prior to the incident. You see, I was out on a stroll on my usual route, and I ran into Robin, and she invited me over for dinner. She said I could invite some friends, so the following night I approached with Simon and Tyler in tow. Robin greeted us at the door. She was bubbly and happy and greeted us all with a smile and guided us through towards the dining table. And we sat down to eat some dinner, and then halfway through she excused herself. I didn't raise too many red flags immediately, but then she was gone for a little while, so I became concerned. I went to go check on her down in the downstairs ensuite, and the bathroom door was locked, and I couldn't hear anything, and then I made my way through to the garage where I saw her fumbling with what looked like cards in the safe. Now, I knew that these cards were very valuable, so There was no doubt in my mind that she must have been trying to steal them or something. And I didn't know how I was going to explain that to Craig when suddenly she jumped me and she shoved them into my pants pocket and I freaked out. I ran out and then I ran into Craig and he just wouldn't listen to me. He wasn't paying attention.
What the hell is this? No, it was her.
And at that point, I'm pretty sure Robin was on the phone, presumably with the police.
Just keep going.
I am.
Get on the back, Dave!
Do anything.
Get on the back!
Fine.
You know, all the police are going to do is just charge attempted robbery. It's a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, well, they've got to punish him with something. I got it. Hit me.
What?
Seriously, hit me. We'll say he did it. Come on. Come on.
Okay.
Be right.
Love you.
Love you.
Is it good?
Yeah! Yeah!
The evidence will show that at no point did I ever make an attempt to steal or assault Mr. Craig or Robin Bell, thus crumbling the entire foundation of the prosecution's case.
Mr. Edwards, both Mr. and Mrs. Bell said they invited you along that night for dinner. So why did you invite Mr. Barnes and Mr. Edwards?
Well, as I mentioned when I ran into Robin in the park, she told me to invite some friends. I was surprised there weren't more people there myself.
Did Mr. Barnes and Mr. Edwards eat dinner that night?
Yes.
Well, how could you explain that none of their fingerprints were found on any of the kitchen utensils, not one?
Well, Craig had done the washing up.
Mm-hmm. So, your fingerprints, Mrs. Bell's fingerprints, Mr. Bell's fingerprints were found on the kitchen utensils, but Mr. Edwards and Mr. Barnes were completely missing. How do you explain that?
Well, they must have washed off when he was doing the cleaning up. As he said, he got interrupted by Robin screaming.
How very convenient. Let's move forward. You claim that night Mrs. Bell shoved the cards into your pants pocket. Police reports indicate that you were wearing suit pants at the time of your arrest. Considering how tight suit pants are, did Mrs. Bell put the cards into your pocket?
I was wearing a hoodie. She put them into my hoodie pocket.
Mm-hmm. Right. So the police report indicates that you were wearing a t-shirt and pants at the time of your arrest. No hoodie. No hoodie. So please tell the court what happened to the hoodie between then and the time of your arrest.
I gave it to Tyler because he was cold.
Mr. Barnes mentioned earlier that he and Mr. Edwards left when things got heated. When exactly did they leave?
Shortly after that whole incident occurred. I didn't want them to stay around for any of the mess that had been left after, so I gave Tyler my jumper and that they left.
Again, very convenient, wouldn't you say? No further questions, Your Honour?
Your Honour, may I call Mrs. Bell to the stand?
Proceed.
Mrs. Bell, Mr. Edwards claims that you attempted to steal the deck of cards, which would then contradict your account of events. So do you have any evidence that might clear up this confusion?
Simple. He wore gloves. Those were the only place that the fingerprints were found on the safe, and those buttons are hard enough to press without.
Mrs. Bell, the only fingerprints found on the safe belong to you and your husband.
Then he must have attempted to open the safe wearing gloves. Explains why it took him so long to put in a simple code.
What would be considered a simple code?
The date of my wedding.
Simple, meaningful, very easy to remember. Do you think it's possible that Mr. Edwards could have, say, guessed the code without allegedly tying you up?
Probably. He was the best man, after all.
Speaking of weddings, I can see you've got your wedding ring on there. That is very lovely, by the way. Must have cost a fortune. Do you always carry your wedding ring on your person?
Yes, I always wear it, except when I sleep.
Oh, so you would have had it on the night of the attack?
Yes.
Your Honour, please turn your attention to exhibit number 4, a photo of Craig's injury following the alleged assault. Mrs. Bell, can you see anything strange, out of place, weird, in this photo here?
No.
Well, I do. There's a mark in the bruise in this photo conspicuously matching the size and shape of your wedding ring. So can you please tell me how this is the case if the defendant was wearing gloves, as you claim?
Simple. My ring has a very common shape. You must have similar taste.
Mrs. Bell, Dave is not married, so he doesn't wear a wedding ring. So forgive me for finding it just a little bit suspicious. Was Dave wearing a ring that night?
Was I expected to have stared at his hands the whole time?
Well, you have known each other for a number of years. I'm sure his taste in jewellery might have come up at some point.
Then clearly he only bought a ring recently. See, look at his hands.
Mrs. Bell, did you assault your husband with the intention of framing Mr. Edwards?
Of course not. How can you accuse me of something so vile? I would never hurt my husband.
The police report clearly dictates that Craig's assailant hit with their left-handed. Dave is right-handed, so I put it to you that you assaulted your husband and framed Mr. Edwards.
I only did it because he robbed us. He may not have hit Craig, but he did everything else. We treated him with respect and treated him like family, and he goes and does this to us. That insect deserves everything he gets. I hope you rot in a cell with the rats for what you did to us.
Order in the court.
No further questions, Your Honour. There is significant doubt to be had that any of the statements provided by the witnesses bear any factual credibility. So I would like to see true justice be served by Mr. Edwards being freed of all charges.
I would agree with the defence. Sergeant, unless you have any new evidence to enter, I'm inclined to dismiss the case of R against Edwards. Mr. Edwards, you're free to go. Mrs. Bell, you have committed a most grievous offence against this court. Perjury and filing false statements with police are both serious offences. I find you in contempt, and you'll be charged with perjury under section 327 of the Crimes Act and with perverting the course of justice under section 319 of the Crimes Act. Sheriff, take the accused into custody. This case is dismissed.